Carmentary time. Neil here with you, driving on the highway back from central Hokkaido, Asahikawa to Sapporo. Very bad weather, very windy, nasty day here on the highway. Let's all drive safe. So today I want to talk about two upcoming events on the weekend, the 24th and the 25th. It's actually a 3-day weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3-day weekend holiday. Great chance to test some boards if you are in the Hokkaido area. So we have two. We have Field Earth, based in Asahikawa, designed in Asahikawa. They're having a Field Earth test ride at Kamui Ski Links on the 24th and 25th, Saturday and Sunday. So that is your opportunity to go see the lineup of Field Earth snowboards and test them out. We'll talk about that more in a moment. The next one, I got the photo screenshot here. We have Gentem Stick. Acoustic Rock is a great store in the city of Sapporo that sells both snowboards, surf gear, a little skate and kind of cultural stuff, along with some really nice high-end fashion items. So if you're looking for a really cool store to check out Acoustic Rock in Sapporo. They host they sell Gentem snowboards, so every year they host a demo day. It's usually here at the end of February, and this year they've gone all out with two opportunities, the 22nd and the 23rd, that's Thursday and Friday, at Kiroro Resort, and then the 24th and 25th at Sapporo Kokusai. They've always done it at Sapporo Kokusai. That was their main location. Man, it is windy. My car is getting blown off the road here. They've extended that now, so Kiroro is another opportunity. There's a different crowd there. They did it last year at Kiroro, and this year they're doing it at both. So this is a good opportunity, a good weekend. You can even split that up if you're really into the snow, surf, snowboard scene. You might want to spend one day testing out the Gentem boards, and then one day testing out the Field Earth boards. Now, let's get into the meat of this conversation, because yesterday I was in Asahikawa and I filmed an interview, or filmed several interviews actually, with Shinya. He is one of my longtime collaborators. He's a professional guide. He rides for the North Face, Field Earth, Smith, MSR, and a variety of other brands. Very talented, very smooth, very elegant rider who I respect and love a lot. He's just fantastic. So we went out and did an interview with him, and we really got into the details of board design. Obviously he's not the one making the boards, but he's been riding them for a long time. And I tried to get him to explain, what does this tail do? What does this side carve do? What does this nose mean? What is this 3D thing? Like, we went really into the details, and I will publish that series of interviews. I'm going to translate it, get it all in English. There's a wealth of information in there that I think everyone is going to love, and it'll be a nice little Bible to sort of go back to and study. Now, he talked a little bit. I asked him, what is your process for testing a new board? You get a new design, or the brand comes out with something new, and they're like, hey, test this board out. So what do you do to test a new board out? And it was quite interesting, and I think this is worth sharing with everyone. And if you go to these board demos, or you have a chance to try out one or several boards in one day, this is a great way to really, understand what the design aspects of each board are doing and how they're affecting your riding. So what he does is he'll take the board out, and he'll start with the stance that's the recommended stance for that board. Every board usually has some kind of a little diagram on the inserts, like recommended stance, like this is where we think as the board brand. This is where we think you should stand on the board. And he starts with that. So even if that is maybe a little more narrow or a little more wide than his normal stance, he will go to that reference stance. Start with that. Go to the groomed runs, not going into the powder. Basically, and at these board demos, unless you're really lucky, and it's like a deep powder day and there's nothing but powder to ride, that's, of course, that's nice. But to really understand the snowboard properly, you're going to want to ride it on fairly packed kind of groomed runs. And he said basically he's a regular rider, so his left foot is in front. What he does is he goes through a series of turns, and on each turn he really starts by putting the weight on the front foot. So if we're going into a toe side, you're turning right, your front foot on the toe edge, you're starting with all the weight on your toe. Then he's going into the turn and he'll shift it so it's like more centered on the board. And then at the end of the turn, he'll really go back onto the back foot and lay into the tail as much as possible. So again, front foot, centered, back foot. And then release, and you go into the other turn. And again, all the weight on that front heel, then getting it centered. And then at the end of the turn, really pulling back as far as he can onto that tail. And what he's doing is he's able to understand, at what point does the nose dig too much into the snow? How is the side cut radius is going to affect, how sharp does the board turn? Does it turn really sharp because it's got a deep side cut? Or is it a board with not much side cut and the turns are just really big, like it's really hard to get it to turn? And then putting all that weight and really forcing the tail, really sort of like making the tail show you what it's got. How much tail, how much pressure can you put on there before it slips out? Does it hold? What does that feel like? And he'll do a series of these turns, and from there, what he learns, maybe, I don't ask specifically, but I'm sure he can do it in one run. He would then start adjusting his stance. So from what you learn from that one run, going through the nose, center, tail, nose, center, tail, nose, center, tail, right? Like, okay, my nose is digging in a little too much. Let me set my front binding back a centimeter. See what happens. Let's go back a little bit. Or maybe my tail feels a little too short. Maybe it's slipping out. I'm not really getting a good edge hold. Let's set everything front a little bit. So that's where he starts getting into the adjustments to see if maybe he can't, quite handle the board on the reference stance, because everybody is different. Different weight, different height, different shoe size, different body build, different technique, different level of expertise. Everyone is going to come at a board a little bit differently. Now each board, obviously, especially on these Snowsurf, Gentem, and Field Earth type boards, some of these boards are going to have a real sort of baseline stance. Like, just a quick example. We talked in our interview yesterday about the X1, and I've ridden the X1 for many years. It's Shinia's favorite board also in the Field Earth line. And that board, you basically have to ride it set front. You cannot set your bindings back on that board. It will get squirrely, it will take off like a rocket, and you will be left behind, and that's not good. You want to be in control of the board, and to do that, you need to set your front foot forward. Now, if that may not be all the way forward, for you it may be one notch back. There's some adjustment in there, and that's what, each person is going to be a little different. So, just to recap, I thought this was a really good concept. I've never really thought about doing something like that deeply. I would just sort of get on a board, feel it out, kind of do my normal thing, and go, okay, yeah, it doesn't seem to really, I don't know, the tail's too short for me, or, I just sort of rather haphazardly judging things. But I like his idea of having the same sort of system each and every time. That way, if you're testing out multiple boards in one day, and at these board demos, a lot of times some of them are free, some of them will charge you 1,000 or 2,000 yen, and you can test as many boards as you want in a day. So you go do one run, you come back, you change your bindings, you go back at it. It seems like a great idea to have a little system like this, and after testing a couple boards in a row, you're really going to get a nice understanding of the difference between each one. And I think that is where a lot of people do tend to struggle with these Snowsurf boards. Gentem Field Earth, very dramatically different board shapes, tails, side widths, side cuts, nose, 3D. There's so many varied designs, and a lot of people just, I think that another thing he mentioned, and I'll close on this because I think it was a good point. The old adage, what is it? Don't judge a book by its cover. Don't judge a Japanese snowboard by its shape. We could say that too. Shinya referenced a lot in the interview about how Field Earth boards will have a certain look. They'll be really 3D shaped with a spoon nose and this swallow tail and all this stuff going on. And you're looking at it going, that is a crazy powder board. I think everybody just sort of, if they see a big spoon nose with a swallow tail, immediately, powder board, it's gonna suck on the course. And what he was saying is that the board I'm referencing is the X2FA, the complete opposite. Sure, it's great at the powder. It's a good powder board. But he said it carves like a demon. It's an incredible board on hard pack, rumors, etc. We'll talk about that more in the future as to why. But the point is, you can't just look at a board and go, oh, this board's going to be like this, so I don't need to ride that one. You should be willing to try everything. Take a board, take a shape that you might not normally step to, and with this sort of testing process, you can really feel how that board moves and handles, regardless of the visual image that you get from it. You need to stop using your eyes to judge a snowboard. Use your feet, use your body, use your balance, and really go, okay, this is what this board is made for. This is amazing. 3,370 yen. I just paid 3,370 yen to ride on the highway from Takikawa to Sapporo. All right, we're back in the city. That is my Carmentary. Hopefully you find that interesting. Board demos this weekend. It is going to be a great weekend to test out some boards. I'm actually probably going to be at the Field Earth demo on Saturday, and then at the Gentem board demo at Sapporo Kokusai on Sunday. So if you're around, I hope to see you there. If you see me anytime on the mountain, please say hi. I do enjoy it when people come up, say hi, tell me that they watch YouTube, or I don't get the Instagram comment much anymore. It's mostly YouTube now, so that's really nice. Also, the always reminder, Substack is where everything is going to be moving towards within the next year or so. So please go to Substack, search for Neil Hartmann. It's free to subscribe. You can make a little donation at this point. At some point, I will probably set up a little subscription fee for some of the content. We shall see what happens. But please, come on over to Substack. It's a great place. Okay, drive safe.